What is up, RotoGrinders? Welcome to another edition of NBA Crunch Time, sponsored by Fanduel. My name is TJ Zwarich, TJ_Zwarich5, ZWARYCH5 on Twitter. And I'm ready to break down some NBA with all of you today. I hope your NFL slates went well, but I'm not by myself. I'm here with my friend, my co-host today, Andre Alfred, Drizzy26. How you doing, my friend?
I'm doing pretty good. Hopefully. Sorry about the sneeze a little bit. It's not coming. Now it's not coming. Hopefully, about to have a better evening than I did for NFL today, but we'll see what happens.
NFL was weird. There was a bunch of weird stuff happening. Some chalk hit super well, and then a bunch of other random stuff happened. And so it was kind of tough as it stands right now. I'm breaking even. I'd be kind of happy if that's how it ends up going today. I had a lot of Josh Allen, and it didn't, and that part didn't go well. The Bills drove the ball down the field. They settled for field goals, and they ran the ball in. But nobody cares about football anymore. You're here to talk about NBA. So let's get into it. Let's hit the like button. Some free content courtesy of Fanduel. And we also got Scores and Odds as a sponsor today. We've got you covered at scoresandodds.com, your number one place for all things sports betting. Check it out for everything you need to make you a better sports bettor, including our new Parlay IQ tool now with FanDuel Sportsbook integration. Book your optimized same-game parlay based on data from thousands of simulated games. With a click of a button, you can bring that bet slip directly into the FanDuel Sportsbook. And the FanDuel, you should, of course, check out FanDuel Sportsbook as well as the FanDuel Single Entry Series, which is back for NFL. Don't forget to reserve your entry in the $5, $33, $100 tiers and get in on the action for weekly and seasonal prizes. Shout out to our leaders after the third week of contests in Week 10. Puck Rat, Tef 3TC, and Ledesfo. Great job, everybody. Sign up for the FanDuel Sportsbook if you're in a legal sports betting state and take advantage of their awesome bonus offer. New customers get a no-sweat first bet up to $1,000. Terms and condition apply. Whew. Let's get into this NBA slate. We just started getting some news here right as we came onto the show. So I'm going to refresh, see if any of these projections have changed. But right as the show started, we found out that there will be no Sadiq Bey today, and so he's still listed as questionable. This hasn't updated. Before we even now it just did. So before we get into the position by position, how does this Detroit situation change for you? Do you have any priorities in particular? How are you prioritizing Jaden Ivey and Alec Burks?
I like Jaden Ivey a little bit more. Definitely. Alec Burks definitely comes into play. He played 33 minutes last game, so someone I think I will have to look at more. But not even just that, but Bojan Bogdanovic is too cheap at 5,800. Someone I was hoping to be a little bit sneakier in tournaments, but now he's going to be probably more popular. So yeah, that's it. That's it so far when it comes to that news. Don't really have any other targets I would want to get from this game. I don't think I would want the point guard situation as far as with Corey Joseph, and everyone else.
Yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense. I'm going to talk cash games today. Dre's going to talk DraftKings. Dre's going to talk tournaments. We're going to start on our sponsor, FanDuel. I'm going to go through the cash plays. So core plays for this one, Cards has got Curry, Ivy, Tyus Jones. And the reason I didn't personally, I'm going to tag Ivy in there as well, but the reason I didn't personally tag Steph Curry is because I think you can play Curry. I think you can play Luka Doncic. And it doesn't necessarily have to be one or the other. I think they're both strong plays today. The other two guys I tagged, Bruce Brown and Charles Bassey, we're going to be without Denver's going to be without a bunch of guys today. No Jamal Murray, no Nikola Jokic. We got Aaron Gordon still questionable in this one. Last game, Bruce Brown started at point guard, played 29 minutes, scored 35 fantasy points. I think he's going to be in for another big one today. And so I got Bruce Brown in there as a core play for cash games as well. Going through position by position here at the point guard spot, I think you're playing Luka Doncic, Terry Rozier, or Stephen Curry. It's one of these guys. If for some reason you got something funky in your lineup and you need to play somebody at shooting guard and you'd rather play Bones Highland instead of Bruce Brown, I think that's okay. But at the point guard position today, Tyus Jones is a must. Even if I was running 150 lineups, I'd have him in all 100. And then exactly how it's prioritized in the RG value here, that is exactly kind of how I would prioritize it. Luka, then Terry Rozier, Stephen Curry, and then Bones Highland. We just got some Miami news. Duncan Robinson on track to play. Dwayne Dedmon on track to play. Bam Adebayo on track to play. We'll talk about Bam when we get to the bigs. I think he's definitely going to be interesting now that he's playing with no Jimmy Butler, no Tyler Herro, no Gabe Vincent, etc. And then I think Kyle Lowry, somebody I didn't talk about, but I think he's interesting for tournaments, but we'll get to tournaments later anyways. At the shooting guard position, like I said, I got Bruce Brown tagged. We got Luka Doncic here, Jaden Ivey, and Terry Rozier. It's the same crew we just talked about at point guard. It's those guys. Other people you can look at are Dylan Brooks and Klay Thompson, but I'd be rather playing them, and John Conchar, but I'd be rather playing them at the small forward position. At the shooting guard, I think you're using it on Brown, Doncic, or Rozier and Ivy. And Ivy and Brown are the priorities for me in this one. Small forward position, Klay Thompson and Dylan Brooks are my two favorites. It would be Brooks number 1, Klay Thompson number 2, followed by John Conchar number 3. Power forward position and getting to power forwards and centers, I think Bam Adebayo is very interesting now. This is a position I'm looking to spend up on, so I'm looking at guys like Bam and I'm looking at Porzingis. Those are going to be my two favorite options for cash games on the slate. If you have a Ben Simmons or you need to spend up and you get Kevin Durant, something like that, I think that's okay. But the priorities for me now got to be Bam Adebayo and Kristaps Porzingis. And then at the center position, the top RG value on the slate by far with Jakob Poeltl out going up against the Lakers, it's Charles Bassey. I think the cash game lineups kind of build themselves when you keep that pretty tight pool. And I think it should be pretty easy to get a cash game lineup today. So maybe have a little more time on DraftKings, a little more time for tournaments and QQs and what have you. But starting at the guard position, Dre, who do you like best for tournaments today?
Crap, hold on. I just eliminated someone I didn't want to. Actually, no, he's fine. Saying I'm up. No.
Pistons are starting Hayes, Ivy, Livers at the 3, Bogdanovich, and Bagley. So probably more likely Bogdanovich at the 3 and Livers at the 4.
Hold on. Oh, Ivy starting. Okay, you just mentioned Ivy. All right, perfect. All right. So at the another update. All right. Anyway, at the guard position, I'll go by point guard and shooting guard. I do like Steph a lot. Steph is my favorite spend up today. I think Luka is just personally a little bit too expensive, but I'll make him great for tournaments. 12K, I think you have to have like at least a 65 minimum from him. And yes, you can get that in that spot, but you can spend that 1.5K elsewhere on another position that you could possibly need, in my opinion. So I don't mind him. I also don't mind taking some shots at Kyrie Irving here. First game back, maybe you might want to play a little bit angry, maybe want to have a big game here. You never know. So Kyrie Irving, someone I have some interest into in tournaments today. I also do like getting a little bit of Bradley Beal as we see. I think he's starting to play more like the Bradley Beal of old. Obviously with the ball handling and as far as getting all the stats that he were last year as far as points, assists, and rebounds. So Bradley Beal is someone else I love in tournaments today. Low-owned guy that I think can be sneaky, I think, is Malik Monk a little bit. 5K at 5K is going to be he's probable to play, which I think he is in. Don't know we got any news on that yet, though, but I think he's someone that is interesting. I love the Bruce Brown is going to be someone I talk about a lot. I think he's a fantastic player today. Someone I think might be a priority over Bones Highland, just because Bones he has a ceiling. He can show a ceiling, but his ceiling is not I guess that high. I guess compared to Bruce, I feel because Bruce has the points and the points, the rebounds, the assists, obviously, as well as the steals and the blocks upside on Fanduel. So I like that a lot. I'll get into the small forward and power forward position too. Kevin Durant, I think, is an excellent tournament play, but I think he's a little bit pricey, especially with Kyrie coming back. So his use is just going to go down a little bit. So I would love to get to a guy like Anthony Davis in tournaments against the Spurs. here. I think he's a fantastic. I think he's another one that's good. And he's also in between that Curry and that Luka Doncic price point as well. Kristaps Porzingis, I love today as well going against Charlotte's. You got to attack the bigs there. Um, Demontis Sabonis at 9.5, I think is so interesting in GPPs with the front, but no one on the front line that can really pretty much stop him. So he's someone I think I would have a lot of interest in today for sure. I'm personally not high on Dylan Brooks, but that's because I know he's also like a perfect GPP play, just because he is like he's not a consistent shooter. He's really a streaky guy that gets going, and once he's going, he's going. So he's someone that if you want to take some chances on, I really don't mind, especially with the situation of John Morant being out and no Jaren Jackson as well, and no Bane. Andrew Wiggins is someone I think that's a little bit interesting in tournaments in this pace-up matchup against Houston. I've got to mention Clay as well, who I think is a fantastic play. Ben Simmons, we talked about on the show, pre-show. 32 minutes was great to see from him play. And at his price of 6'2" and 5'7" on DK, that's too cheap. I think he should be more of a it's hard to make him more of a core play because he's not the Ben Simmons of old, but he's starting to look better and getting more into shape and more into form. So I like Ben Simmons today a lot here today. And then I think that's it. I don't mind taking some shots on Brandon Clark a little bit in tournaments, just a little bit. But I'm not going to be heavy on him at all, especially with going against Brooklyn in that front court, and him could possibly be getting in foul trouble a little bit too as well. And then at the center position, I do like Bam Adebayo, since he's going to be back today. He's on track to play against Cleveland. That's going to be an interesting spot. He's going to have a lot more, pretty much have all the usage, be able to do what he wants to do. Why is but you got Charles Bassey here for 23 minutes, and he's going to be probably the highest owned player here, but for good reason, I believe. If I'm correct, we don't have no Jakob Poeltl, right?
Correct.
Yeah, so Charles Bassey might be a lock at center. But if you want to get different, I like Steven Adams a lot today as well. So
something I think I would do too is if I was running 150, I would be probably playing Charles Bassey or Isaiah Roby in all of my lineups.
Yes, I like Roby. Thank you for that Roby call. Roby is a good play as well. I like them too, and Steven Adams personally. And probably in that order. Steven Adams being last now. I think he's an excellent tournament player at 5.3K that can get like the blocks and steal upside on this slate. And Bigs against Brooklyn, it doesn't matter who it is. He's going to rebound the ball. He's going to put some points up there real close, and he's the strongest person on the court. No one's stopping Steve Adams.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. I also could see a scenario, though, where he does just get ran off of the court and doesn't get a lot of big minutes today. But, I mean, to be honest with you, the center position is probably the one I've struggled most with this year in terms of getting this one right. A couple other tournament players I like I mentioned, Kyle Lowry. I like getting to John Conchar as a pivot off of Brooks in tournaments. Ben Simmons is somebody that I'm somewhat interested in getting to as well as a run back. And then I'm going to be playing, like, he's not going to be low owned, but the lineup I have right now is I'm having a tough time not playing Klay Thompson and Luka Doncic as a combo, as opposed to Steph Curry and kind of a no man's land position area that I'm not sure how I'm going to get there. We did just get Aaron Gordon ruled out of this one. So I think that could make him somewhat more, these other Denver Nuggets players somewhat more interesting for tournaments, bump up Bruce Brown and Bones Highland maybe a little bit more even, and Michael Porter Jr., Caldwell Pope, Jeff Green, DeAndre Jordan. These guys have more solidified minutes now with Aaron Gordon out, but it's basically the exact same situation we've seen over the last couple days. Going to pivot over to DraftKings now, go through the cash builds, get you to talk some tournaments real quick. Not maybe not position by position, but more so, what are the biggest differences for you on DraftKings in compared to Fanduel? So we got cards as core plays, same as on Fanduel. Tyus Jones, Steph Curry, as well as Jaden Ivey. I'm looking at a lot of similar plays today. I'm playing Bassey at the center position, Tyus Jones at the point guard, Bruce Brown at the small forward position, Jaden Ivey at the shooting guard, and this is how I think I would start my cash games. I think you have the choice between playing Stephen Curry or Luka Doncic, whichever one fits your lineup better. As you can see, if I plug in Luka here, like I still have over 5K remaining. It's not that difficult on this slate. But I do think it's imperative to be using your utility position on one of two players today, or one of three players today, sorry, and that's Kristaps Porzingis, Bam Adebayo, or Jared Allen. These are the three guys that I think you're considering as your utility. I think you want to be playing two centers. And these four would be my first four into the core play type situation. I'd make sure I get one of Steph or Luka Doncic. I'd use my center position for Jared Allen, Kristaps Porzingis, or Bam Adebayo, and I'd be looking to fill out my lineups with somebody like Dylan Brooks, Bones Highland. That's for the most part where I'd be looking to for cash games today. Tournaments, anything different for you? Last person I want to mention that I think is okay as a kind of a last piece type thing is Killian Hayes. Now that we just found out that we recently found out that Sadiq Bey is going to be out too, maybe just a bit more secure of minutes for him.
Yeah, for me, pretty much it's almost the same thing for me. But like, I don't mind Kyle Lowry on this side because he's 7.5K, even without Jimmy. I
Get that 3-point bonus too.
Yeah, and he showed that he still got it last time. He made a fool of me, so I would not doubt playing that guy anymore. So I like Kyle Lowry on DK a lot more. I also do like some of these Rockets guys a little bit more on DK too, like Jalen Green. I think is someone that's an excellent guy you could use as a run back, who I think will come in lesser owned. And also on this side, I do not mind a guy like Donovan Mitchell as a run back he's not really going to have anyone that's going to be able to guard him. But Miami, obviously, we saw that they can still play competitive games and be very and are very coachable. So I do like Donovan Mitchell, and he has not scored, I think, less than like 25 points against this team. In the previous matchups, even dating back, I believe, to last year sometime. So I don't mind taking some shots with him for sure. Brandon Clark, I think, is a much better player. Also on here as well too. Other than that, most of my plays will be the same. It's not going to be anything different. I'm not going to try. I would try to go more balanced here. Marvin Bagley would be in play, but you have to worry about foul trouble with Sabonis, so I'll be a little bit careful with that. Other than that, yeah, everything else will be the same.
I'm happy you brought up Jalen Green because for tournaments, that the Houston news is something I want to touch on. We have Kevin Porter Jr. and Alperen Sengun listed as game time decisions right now. If both of these players are out, I think it makes somebody like Klay Thompson and Stephen Curry even more kind of scary to play. And it also opens up guys like Usman Garuba and KJ Martin, maybe even Eric Gordon as very strong value plays. Even Terry Eason and Deshaun Nix in tournaments, maybe if you're running 150. But Garuba, I think, would be the main importance for tournaments. Jalen Green becomes a very strong tournament play as well, especially over on Fanduel where he is a little bit cheaper. Going to start taking some QQs now. Going to look at the NBA Crunch Time chat in Discord for our premium members first. We got almost 100 people watching right now. Get me the like count up over 30 likes, and then we will hit the YouTube chat for some QQs as well. First one, Dre, in a FanDuel single entry, can you play Luka and Steph?
Yeah, you definitely can. I don't see why not.
I agree. I think there's enough value on this slate that there's nothing wrong with playing both of those guys because like we just do have so much value on this one. If I go over to Lineup HQ on FanDuel, I plug in Steph alongside Tyus Jones, keep Bassey in there for some salary relief and throw Luka. 5,400 plus per position for the rest. It's pretty darn easy to fill out your lineup. You absolutely can play both of them in tournaments, and I think you can play both of them in cash games as well. Next thing, looking over here, what do we got? DKGPP. What do you like? Bam Adebayo and Bruce Brown, or Jared Allen and John Conchar? I don't see how those salaries match up.
Yeah, but I think it's going to be the first one. Bam for sure. Bam and Bruce. It's going to be probably more chalkier. Maybe Bam might even come in less on because the news is going to get out a little bit late. But I definitely would say Bam.
Yeah, I like that side as well. I'm playing one lineup on Fanduel today, and it does not have Bam Adebayo in it right now, which is a little worrisome. But the only 6 p.m. players it has is Porzingis and Ivy. So I think there's room for some swappability if we get some of this news out. To be honest, in this last 5 minutes, I'm somewhat considering just saying, hey, nobody in these first 2 games. I'm going to wait for some news. But the games are just so juicy. It's kind of hard to do so. 2v2 for cash, Bam and Klay Thompson, or Dylan Brooks and Jared Allen. I think I would go with Bam and Klay Thompson for that one. Taking it back over to the YouTube here. Oh, it's $100 difference. I guess it does work in a GPP, but yeah, definitely Bam and Bruce Brown. I forgot how cheap Bruce Brown is, or how cheap that play it. I guess maybe Conchar is just more expensive. Maybe I just don't like Conchar on DraftKings. I think that's kind of where that adds up to me there. Jay, do you got any hot takes for this one? And what's your favorite game stack of this slate?
Hot takes. Favorite game stack probably is going to honestly be Detroit, Sacramento. I think you're going to need some players from that game. Bassey is really interesting. I think Bassey's the best play, one of the best value plays is probably the best value player on the slate. Jared Allen though on DK is so daggone so cheap. He could ruin the slate too and mess that up a lot. I think Kristaps Porzingis is going to be in a winning lineup personally. That's a hot take, I guess. He's going to become in a lesser room probably than most of these guys. And now with this news of Bam being in there, Bam and Kyle Lowry could potentially be in there too. I wouldn't be surprised. I might want to get a little bit of a Cleveland Miami mini stack because even though it might be high, it might be tight, but we know where the usage is going for all these players. As far as we got Duncan Robinson coming back, we understand that, but we're not going to play him probably. But Kyle Lowry and Bam Adebayo running back with maybe like Donovan Mitchell or Darius Garland or Jared Allen. If you want, I don't mind that at all. I think that's a great way to get different in tournaments, something that no one else is really going to be on a lot of.
Yeah, I like that. And I think kind of how, if I was running more lineups today, if I was running 3, I think the way that I'd want to mess around and do that is kind of one mini game stack focused on these, or like kind of full early stack, focus on Charlotte, Washington game stack, do some Rozier, some Porzingis, maybe mix a couple other guys in and do it with Ivy, De'Aaron Fox, Sabonis, some of those guys. And then the other thing I'd want to do with my other lineups is focus on a game stack of Memphis, Brooklyn, Green, and as well as Golden State and Houston. I think those would be the 3 that I'd be kind of most interested in stacking up, because we got a big 11 or 10.5 point spread in this Golden State and Houston game, but these are 2 teams that just play absolutely no defense. This could end up being like a 130, 125 type game if it happened to stay close somehow. So that would be one I'd want to stack up in tournaments as well, just because I think it has some very, very big upside along with it.
Yeah, I agree with that. Sorry, I'm listening to you and trying to get some bets at the same time.
That's all good. If I'll ramble on here for a few more seconds here, and then I want you to maybe list off some of those last minute bets that the people can get in. Final thing I want to touch on is we have a really good set of 2 early games, but also some really strong late swap opportunities. So if you're planning on having a day, an evening where you're just going to be watching Sunday Night Football, building your NFL lineups, or just putting the phone away and eating some supper tonight, play the heck out of these Detroit Sacramento game and Charlotte Washington games, because they're great games. If you know you're going to be able to stay glued to your phone, glued to Twitter, lots of late swapping for this one, then you're going to have a solid edge on this slate, because this Golden State Houston game as well as some of these other games later on when we don't necessarily know how the starting lineups are going to look. You could have a lot of opportunity for some low-owned upside. So build your lineup kind of based on that. If you're not going to be able to do some late swapping, maybe don't play a lot of later guys because you're going to have a tough time knowing if those later guys that you have in your lineup are going to be worth it later on. Who are some of the bets you're going with today, Dre?
KD over 25, over whatever points he's at right now. I'm taking the over on it. I like. Sorry, I'm doing alternate spreads too as well. But I like Porzingis over as well on points. Donovan Mitchell over on points. So rebound wise, I like Steven Adams over on rebounds. I kind of like Sabonis over on rebounds, but it's still kind of risky because Sabonis actually sometimes he don't want to rebound the ball, and I hate that. But but that's some of the bets I like right now.
All right, there you go. Couple last minute bets. We got 1 minute here to lock, so make sure you get your lineup. Or sorry, no, we got 2.5 minutes in here to lock. My my laptop computer is a little fast on the screen, but make sure you get your lineups in, get those adjustments, be ready to late swap if you're playing some of those later players in this game, and make sure you hit the like button on your way out here. If you're watching this on YouTube, hit that notification bell. Make sure you're subscribed to the RG page, and make sure you hit the like button as well, because we want to keep giving these free shows away courtesy of our sponsor FanDuel. But FanDuel's not going to want to do it if it's not if the analytics aren't looking so well. So make sure you hit the like button on your way out there, and then we still have some Sunday night football coverage coming up. We got we got STL talking this Sunday night football game between the Chargers and the Chiefs tonight. So make sure you tune in for that one, so they can help you get to the top of the NFL leaderboards, just like we helped you get to the top of the NBA leaderboards today. That'll do it for this edition of Crunch Time. Thank you so much for joining us. On behalf of myself, on behalf of Dre, we'll see you next week or later.